Hello
Hello
and
there.
welcome to Trooper Archives, guys. What's
This is
up?
the
What's going
opening.
on?
Yeah, this is the opening for a series of podcasts about Star Wars. And I'm Gabe Verhel, one of your hosts, and I've been a Star Wars fan since 2002.
I'm Ace Romualdez, and I have been a Star Wars fan since 1986. Gabe and I have known each other since 2010, since I was still his tutor. He was a student. Looks like it's going to be the other way around now. So, for Troopers Archives, we are going to be exploring all the Star Wars materials according to time of release.
Yep, that's right. We're going to be discussing Star Wars, not only the movies, but you're going to see and watch our perspectives on how we grew up in the Star Wars universe and how we got started in our journey.
Some of you guys may have friends who don't like Star Wars, kind of like Star Wars, or maybe a little lukewarm on Star Wars, pun intended. But we want Gabe wants me to get back on the Star Wars horse, so to speak.
That is right.
And hopefully, here at Trooper Archives, we'll be able to help me and all the rest of you with that.
Yep, that's true. And that is why we have a TikTok. We have established a TikTok wherein we post videos about Star Wars. You know, don't expect anything that you already. I mean, don't expect anything that you don't know. So the TikTok is for like new Star Wars fans or like friends that you want to introduce Star Wars for.
That's right. And hopefully, you guys guide them over to this channel. And if they refuse, you can just force choke them.
That's true.
No harm done. Yeah, it's no
Force
biggie.
choking
No
is
biggie.
legal in this podcast. All right, so Ace, I think we have some questions from the Grand Inquisitor.
The Grand Inquisitor. So
Yeah, he sent me an email, an imperial
Wow.
email. Yeah,
So
for
close to the
troopers.
Inquisitorius already. No, but yeah. So for this video, it's just gonna be an intro. It's just gonna be like
Yep.
intro questions on why we're doing this
That
channel
is
and
true.
why we're getting started. How we fell in love with Star Wars, basically. Yeah. Go ahead with the.
I think
Let's
the Grand
read out the email.
Yeah. All right. So, the Grand Inquisitor, I think, wanted to like verify our identities as troopers if we're actually like part of the Galactic Empire.
What is
If
your
I'm
post
correct.
number?
TK421.
TK41.
You copy. Anyways, so basically, this is our. I think he CC'd you in the email as well. You could check.
Yeah, I got the list of
Um,
questions as well.
Yeah. All right. So we'll start with the first question from the Grand Inquisitor. All right. So wait, sorry. All right. So the first question is for you. This is for you, intended for you. How was it being a Star Wars fan as a kid in the late 80s? Because I think you were born in 83.
I was born in
Or 80.
I was born in 1980.
All right.
The
Okay.
year of release of Empire Strikes Back. So
That's true.
growing up in school, Star Wars wasn't that big back in the 80s. It was I don't remember watching Star Wars in the theaters at all. It was always on a VHS tape or a laser disc. So big,
Pretty old.
compact. It's pretty old. And yeah, it was everything. I was obsessed with Star Wars. I would do like loads of Star Wars drawings and everything. And my
Drawings.
sister was also a Star Wars fan, so that helped me,
Oh, okay.
cultivate that interest as well.
Wait,
So,
additional question. Do you still have those drawings? Did you preserve any of them?
unfortunately, not. But I'm trying. I'm trying to teach my daughters how to draw a Death Star. So, plus they're into Lego.
Oh, that's it's a pretty expensive collection. All right.
How about you? What got you into Star Wars, Gabe?
Well, growing up in the late 90s, early 2000s. We had this like food stall in a semi abandoned mall, and I, as a kid, I was wandering around while my parents worked in the stall, and I came across a video store, and unfortunately, I knew as soon as like I was like around 6 years old, if I'm not mistaken, by 2002. Um, I came across CDs and DVDs, and I know for a fact that we don't own a DVD player. So I went to the CD section, which was pretty small because DVD was big, was kind of big, growing big at that time. And I came across like a stacks of movies, and I immediately saw um, Luke Skywalker. I didn't know his name. I just saw his face, and the CD that I saw, it had if you guys know that CD, it had like a purple background to it. But that's the first Star Wars character I've ever seen in my life. Based on my, as long as I can remember, it was Luke Skywalker. So I watched episode 4. I didn't even know. Like I was so fierce. I didn't. Episode 1 wasn't available, and I had to start watching with episode 4, which eventually I would not regret.
Excellent.
So, talking about Star Wars as a kid, did you ever have friends who also liked Star Wars when you were a kid, or even when you became a teenager?
Yeah, well, some friends of mine they watched Star Wars, but it was a fun movie to watch, and then that was it. It wasn't like me where it was everything at the time, except for this one friend. I had this one friend where he would be we would dress up as Luke Skywalker, and he would be Han Solo, and we'd be riding in the Millennium Falcon. But it's really just on my bedroom floor, and we had a setup with controls and everything, and we'd go into hyperspace and do make believe, and that's how we would play before. So there was this one friend of mine who was completely enthralled with the Millennium Falcon being a smuggling ship. I was obsessed with lightsabers. I wanted a lightsaber back then. It was impossible to get a toy lightsaber back in the 80s. And yeah, so my friends in school, not so much Star Wars fans, but my friend here at home where I grew up, he was a big Star Wars fan just as I was.
And that's the difference between like as kids, right? Like growing up with Star Wars in the 80s or in the late 80s, you guys didn't have you guys usually use your imagination. And now that early 2000s, we have a lot of like props, like toys and whatnot, so you have any questions?
access to anything Star Wars related was really limited. There was even to just the movies. It was a few video shops, and that was it. There weren't any toys, there weren't any merchandise,
no internet,
no internet,
YouTube,
no social media, nothing. So we had to make do with that. But that's why we're here now.
That's true.
Yeah. So about you grew up. The prequels had already been released, right? When you were born.
Yes.
And so you had the opportunity to watch episode 1. You grew up in this time where there's social media, Instagram, all the information we can get just like that.
Mm-hmm.
What is the main impact of Star Wars on you as a Star Wars fan? How has it manifested in you as a fan?
That's true. Thank you. Actually, very good question. When I grew up in the early 2000s, social media was not like, it wasn't that big. So I still relied on the movies. And watching the movies like countless of times. As a kid, I wanted something physical, something I can touch, I can be immersive with. As you told me that you and your friend played, like guys were in the Millennium Falcon. You were like smugglers, but you were technically in your bedroom floor. As a kid, in those times, I wanted something more physical, something I could touch, and that's why um, this wasn't like in a snap. All right, I did not start. Okay, I will introduce. I am a Star Wars collector of Star Wars figures. All right, so I started with the 3.75-inch figures in 2008, and my first figure ever, it was Obi-Wan and a clone trooper. You know, that was a
Hello
big
there.
hello there, and a trooper. And we're called trooper archives. So, it wasn't a coincidence. It was the only thing available at the stall, and it was like about 1,000 pesos, I think.
Mhm.
And I had to like beg for it too. Like I had to beg to buy me too, because I can't be having just Obi-Wan or a clone trooper. I had to have them both, a general and a trooper. So that's the main impact. Up until now, it's 2022, and I am still collecting Star Wars figures because they are nonstop. They don't stop producing
Collection
these
is
figures.
going strong in this one.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Um, so I have a question for you. So,
Mhm.
talking about the prequels, Obi-Wan and the Clone Trooper, the figure.
Mhm, mhm.
Um, who was your favorite character in the original trilogy, the one you grew up in, and the prequel trilogy,
The prequel is a
and
prequel.
why? Yeah, prequel.
Okay, okay. For the original trilogy, I tried to. I used to pretend to like R2D2, but I've got to be honest. I really like Luke Skywalker in the original trilogy. I liked the hero arc, and the at the time when I was a kid, I didn't understand his struggles being a hero, because when watching movies back then, you already know, oh, he's the hero, he's gonna win in the end. That's basically what it was before.
Yeah,
But now, appreciating what he had to go through to
that's
get to
true.
Return of the Jedi, and the lightsaber fight scene in Return of the Jedi back in the 80s, was
Yeah.
mind blowing already. So definitely Luke Skywalker for the original trilogy. For the prequels, gotta be Obi-Wan Kenobi, hands down. Ewan McGregor is badass.
True.
Ewan McGregor for Revenge of the Sith particularly was
It
fantastic.
like the Ewan McGregor with the, what was his cut in episode 2? Like the mullet.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Business up front, party in the back. Yeah,
Yeah, pretty much.
but it was the beard. It has to be the beard. The
True.
the catch up to Alec Guinness. That was no,
Yeah, they kind
but
of trimmed
as a
it down
character, I think as a
as a
character,
character.
from being a wet-eared Padawan in episode 1 to how he would fight Anakin Skywalker. Spoiler alert. Uh, in episode 3, and of course, he has his own series now. Same actor, fantastic. It was
We'll
fantastic.
probably talk about that series in a future podcast.
Definitely, we have to definitely.
Definitely, we cannot
All
be
right,
like, we have to catch up because we're like
yeah.
season 1. It's A New Hope, and we have a lot of Star Wars content to catch up on.
It's gonna be a big chase to present content. So
That's
we'll
true.
get there. We'll get there. We'll be
All right,
we'll be taking our time.
yeah,
Yeah. So
basically.
we spoke about the original trilogy. So have you seen the original trilogy in its original filming, its original production state before the re-release in, I think it was 1996 or 1997? Have you seen that set, that trio of movies in its original state?
Actually, I'm not. I'm gonna be honest about it. I haven't. I haven't. I have seen snippets of it in YouTube and in other social media platforms,
The
but
differences.
the differences.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
the actual movie, I have not, because I think by the time I was into Star Wars, it was the re-release of the original trilogy, and as a kid who grew up without social media, and then eventually when I became a teenager, social media kind of boomed, um and then you realize that, wait, that wasn't the original movie. It
Mhm,
was
mhm.
edited out right after. So like Um, I just want to say that for those who haven't watched it, as myself, you should check out. Even you, Ace, you should probably check out Project 4K77, Project 4K80, and Project 4K83. They have done it in 4K. The original scene unedited, raw, but in 4K. It's
Oh
hard
wow.
to acquire. I think it's I think it's free. I don't really know. Comment down below if it's free. Send us a link.
Send
We
us a link.
really want to watch it.
We want to watch it.
Since especially we're gonna be tackling for season one, A New Hope. We want to watch Project 4K77. In its original form, but in 4K format. So yeah, it's pretty much it. So yeah, haven't watched it. Hoping to watch it.
I hope we get the chance to. I hope we get the chance to do it. Just
So
to discuss differences. Yeah.
yeah, true. So I think this has a red highlight from the Grand Inquisitor. Very important question. Very
Very
critical.
important.
Very critical to our identity. So disclaimer. All right. Again, this podcast is our own point of views. This does not constitute a
From a
group of
certain point
fans.
of
All right.
view.
So I have a very controversial question for you. I mean, the Grand Inquisitor made up this question, and I'm just following orders because we have to. So did you did you like Star Wars Episode 1? If yes, does that include Jar Jar Binks? If no, why didn't you like it?
Wow. The bombshell question. What a divisive. No. Yes, definitely. I definitely liked episode 1. Much to I think there to be honest as well, same as you. There was a time where there was a time where I denied liking episode 1 because of, peer pressure. Most of my friends were how did you call it? How do you say? Just discrediting episode 1 as a movie that you watched. But episode 1, the trailer to episode 1, I remember it being out. Um, Darth Maul's double lightsaber was a must see. I could not watch that at that point. And the lightsaber fight scenes at the time was also the best ever because we had episode 4, 5, 6. That was it. It was just Darth Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi in episode 4, and Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker for 5 and 6.
That's true.
Those were the best lightsaber scenes up until episode 1. So when episode 1 came out, I saw it 4 times in the theater.
Oh shit!
I
Oh,
saw it 4
sorry.
times.
Sorry for the
4
cursing.
times.
But yeah,
That's good. To your B question. Oh man, I have nothing against Ahmed Best.
Yeah.
I wish him the best.
great
I heard
actor.
that I heard that he had a really really rough time. I don't like Jar Jar Binks. I don't hate him. I don't hate Jar Jar Binks. I don't like him just cause I think he was trying to replace C3PO as the comic relief in the group, in the main characters. But it was a bit. There was too much CGI in episode as a main character. There was too much CGI. There was too much slapstick comedy when it came to him.
I think George overdid it, to be honest.
Yeah, well, we can blame George for a lot of things, but maybe I don't know. Looking back, they could have done something else. At the time, it was. I mean, I didn't hate Jar Jar Binks. He was okay, but I was looking forward to Qui-Gon. I was looking forward to Obi-Wan and Darth Maul. So that was
just a quick question
yeah,
to add to that. How did you react seeing Obi-Wan as a younger, character? Because you knew Ben Kenobi as like an old man, a hermit, and then you see him in the trailer, oh my god, that's Obi-Wan Kenobi as like a Padawan. He's not really a master yet. He's not a master yet. It was like in his early 20s, I think,
That's
if
right.
I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
So how did you
that's right.
react to that?
I was excited. I knew I had known Ewan McGregor as an actor, prior to Star Wars. I watched Train Spotting. I watched, some of his other movies before he was Obi-Wan. And him being Obi-Wan was a real treat. I knew he was a good actor, and it was just the anticipation of him having to grow old and become Alec Guinness at some point was was uh was the one that I had to reconcile with my mind, because uh prequel trilogies was never done till the prequel trilogy. So it was a big undertaking for Lucasfilm. So yeah, super excited at the time. Yeah, so we have one question. I have one last question for you, or the Grand Inquisitor does. So
Far away.
this question may be brought up in later episodes, but I want to ask you, what is a better theory or what if discussion for you? A, Mace Windu is still alive, or B, midichlorians should still be mentioned by Disney in the upcoming movies?
Okay. That's a pretty good question from the Grand Inquisitor. He is really investigating us very carefully.
He's really
Um,
inquisiting.
yeah, inquisiting. That's a word. I don't know. um, so all right. So A, if Mace Windu is still alive.
Still alive.
So like
What would be a
if
what would
it's
a
like
what
after
kind
episode
of
3.
yes, yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And then if midichlorians should still be mentioned. Okay. All right. So I think I'll shy away from B, because like that's a very I think that's a topic to be discussed for a different podcast.
It's a little
But
rough.
yeah, it's a little rough for the midichlorian fans. I'm so sorry, but
Sorry,
like I had
midichlorian
to
fans.
go with the big bad Black Jedi,
Mhm.
Mace Windu.
Yeah.
It was a great character, to be honest. But we'll discuss more
Badass,
of him in
badass.
the future seasons.
Yeah.
I think I'd like to see Mace Windu to be still alive. I think to discuss it briefly, I think he'd be either if I'm gonna, because like there's so many Star Wars content that's been released, right? And no hint of Mace Windu being alive.
That's right.
And I have seen a lot of posts by Samuel L. Jackson, the actor that played Mace Windu, wishing or wanting to reprise his role as Mace Windu.
He's the only
Because
one messing with us. He's messing with us.
yeah, probably. But that's something I would love to be, factual. If he's still alive, I think him being alive and him not being present in the content like that
Yeah.
Disney released could be a foreshadowing that he could be a villain. I don't know, or he could have been like
Ooh, wow.
laying low in
Hot
the unknown
take.
regions.
Wow. What a hot
Because
take.
like it's not because like I would want him to be a good guy still. I would want him to be a badass Jedi still, but
Mhm,
like
mhm.
with him being absent in the rebellion versus the Empire, even after like the Resistance versus the First Order, like where were you? Like in the middle of it, right? Like if he was still a Jedi, if he still believed in what he fought for in the Clone Wars and even before that, he could have like helped the rebellion at some point, right? But the thing is, he didn't. So what was he doing? Was he
Where is
assembling an
he?
army? Was
Where
he?
is he?
Did he like establish a new order of Force use dark side Force users?
Oh,
We don't know. I
oh,
mean,
that's
we
the
could
weeds.
just,
We're getting in the weeds now.
we could just, wonder and like ask ourselves, what if Mace Windu was still alive? So
Definitely in a
I
future
think,
episode.
yeah, I think that wraps up to the questions by the Grand Inquisitor. So to end this Star Wars first episode, the introduction to season 1, we would like to talk about our YouTube channel. All right, we have shorts as well, guys. So what we post in TikTok, we post in our YouTube channel.
YouTube
So
channel as well.
consider giving us a thumbs up. All right, and consider commenting down below what you want to see, what you think we should improve upon. This is our very first podcast. So we apologize if it's a bit rough for you. I mean, this is my first podcast. I mean, do you want to plug your podcast? I mean, he has his own podcast.
No, it's
But-
a different time. But I'm hoping that again, I've stopped watching some Star Wars materials, and I'm hoping you will get me back in, because I used to be your tutor. I used to teach you. You used to be the student. You used to be the learner. But
now I am the master.
Yes.
Definitely. All right. So basically, guys, consider subscribing to Trooper Archives. We would love to hear about you in the comments section down below. We will try to reply to your comments as much as we would. But yeah, please subscribe, because good soldiers follow orders.
Thanks, guys.
All right, guys.
May the force be with you.
Always.